really didn't address what happened over the last visit with our IVF. I kind of went into it in that video, but I really didn't go into it and describe the emotions I feel. So, my husband is a retired Marine and was injured when he fought in the Iraqi war, whatever the name of it, Iraqi war for freedom, obtaining freedom, whatever the hell they named it. He fought in it. In his deployment, he was blown up twice. Blessings to God, it wasn't as severe as it could be. But needless to say, years later, it still has lasting effects on him. He suffered from TBI, which stands for traumatic brain injury, and as a result, he has severe migraines, and it affected his fertility. Prior to him joining the military, he was a fertile man. Prior to him going to the Afghanistan war, he was fertile. However, by the time he and I got married, he had already been injured. And we had just resolved and settled into the fact of knowing that we wouldn't have children together, and we would just enjoy the children that we shared from previous relationships with one another. Well, in 2018, the government finally passed legislation saying that the VA benefits, the VA administration, the Veterans Administration will begin paying for fertility treatments for members or veterans that had service-connected infertility. So my husband went and he applied and he got approved. If you have infertility, the Veterans Administration's definition is if you're legally married, your spouse will be then covered as well. So we went through the protocol to get everything taken care of to where I was added and covered. And they have a department within the Veterans Administration called the Office of Community Care. This department outsources and sends you out your referral to whomever they want you to go get treatment from. So when they sent my husband to Duke Fertility Center back at the beginning of 2020, which he did a lot of his diagnostic tests beginning in February, and he was scheduled for surgery in April, but due to COVID, it got pushed back to May. But either way, they sent him to Duke. So we naturally said, well, when it came to my portion of the treatment, we naturally said, well, we'll have my wife go to Duke as well. The mindset behind that and thinking was, okay, his sperm's there already. If I do my treatment there, we don't have to worry about transportation and transporting the sperm from where they're being stored. Okay, good to go. So they're there. And we get the authorization for me to begin treatment in August. August 24th to be exact. So, we contact Duke Fertility and they let us know that they are behind, but they are booking a month out. So they booked me for September 29th, 2020. I was a little irritated because I was just at that point ready to go, but I'm like, it's 30 days, I'm good. So September 29th comes around, and in that whole appointment for the IVF consultation, I'm asking them, are we covered? Is my insurance verified? That was my anxiety level, because I've never had to rely on something that I honestly could not verify and trust myself. By me not being the veteran, there's limited information that the Veterans Administration would give me. They would give it directly to my husband. Not to say that my husband is not an honest person. I have very, very bad anxiety, and in that anxiety, I'm a very severe pessimist. I'm very pessimistic. I think the worst is always going to happen. Usually I'm right about what's going to happen, though. So anyway, with that being said, the lady told us that everything was verified. We're good to go. I will do another video explaining how we got everything as far as coverage through the Veterans Administration, because I am aware that there are couples out there who are veterans who don't really know. So anyway, back to story time. So we go and do the appointment. They do labs that day. I speak with my doctor, and she was, very pleasant. I really, really liked her. I'm like very heartbroken that I'm not finishing my care with her, because I really liked her. We do all that. In the appointment, I'm steadily asking, is everything okay? And at the end of the appointment, when we go to check out, I ask them, we're using Veterans Administration to pay for my services. How do I make sure that my medications are ordered in time? And the billing lady came out. Her name is Amy. And she was like, oh, well, this is what you do. You go and you ask your community care or at the VA hospital for your authorization number, and then bring that to us and we'll get them ordered. I should have known something was wrong right there, because it is not the job of the patient to contact the insurance company to get authorization numbers or referral numbers. They're supposed to get those informations directly from the provider. Has a provider line to contact your insurance company, and the provider has to verify that information. Needless to say, that wasn't even the process to get medicine paid for by the Veterans Administration. And so that should have been my first red flag, but I sped past that, because we were told, okay, the doctor in that appointment, we want you to do a cyst exam. A cyst exam is a saline infused sonogram. That was the one test I did not get done prior. So I was like, okay, we'll go get this saline sonogram done. She said, well, I'm not anticipating you starting stims until November, because I want you to go home. I want you to read these authorization letters. I mean, not authorization letters, these consent forms. You and your husband go over the consent forms and determine what your answers are going to be. And then we'll go from there. Okay, she said, well, in the meantime, because you're not coming back until October, let's go ahead and schedule this saline sonogram. I was like, okay. So we scheduled the saline sonogram, and we go for the October 20th. So we stayed 2.5 hours away from the clinic. So we were like, we'll just kick all our appointments out at one time, as much as we can, as many appointments as we can. We'll do it in one day, because I don't want to be driving all the way 2.5 hours one way to do a 10-minute thing. So we did the saline sonogram. That was 45 minutes. We did our med class where she showed us how to do the injections. That was 45 minutes. So I was very happy. The saline sonogram went awesome. As you can see what I said in the previous video, it went amazing. Here's where the issue lies. We get ready to check out, and they want us to sign a form saying that we assume financial responsibility of $11,500 for the first round of IVF. That threw me off. So I'm thinking maybe these are some extra incidentals that they're charging us for that we don't need. So I looked at my husband and I'm like, no. We have Veterans Administration insurance. They pay for everything. No, these are the portions that Amy was discussing with you that it wasn't covered. I haven't discussed anything with Amy. What you're not going to do is lie and tell people I talked to you about a coverage that I didn't do. Because when I talked to Amy let me know that everything was covered. So now you're trying to backpedal. So we get in the office and we talk to Amy, and we've been calling her the purple-haired Karen. I could not remember her name. My husband couldn't remember her name. We didn't find out her name until like 4 days later. But she was like, we don't take Veterans Administration. Just how my face just looked. Yes, just like that. And my husband said, why not? Your contract with the VA to do so. And she said, for one, they don't pay. They never pay. Okay. First of all, Karen, what you're not going to do is bash the military. One thing about the government is if you have a government contract, I don't care what you have a government contract for. You know that there's guaranteed money, first off. Secondly, there are places and businesses in a military town that would do business with a military veteran or active duty person or any DOD personnel before they will do it with a civilian. Why? Because that's guaranteed money. So don't tell me that the government ain't paying, because that's bullshit. But I'm trying to be the professional individual that I can be. And I said, well, what do I got to do to check out? Because at this point, we're just running around in circles. Because at that point, the Karen and my husband, they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it was just irking my nerve at that point. Because, bitch, you not changing your answer. You're lying. So, we go and we make phone. We go home. We both write very interesting emails to our doctors. And our doctors told us, no, the facility takes the insurance. You guys just aren't authorized. So, after 2 days of dodging our phone calls, we get a phone call Friday. So they dodged us all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. They called us Friday. And they were a little more compassionate. Because at that point, my husband had called the main hospital. And he had filed a complaint. A discriminatory complaint, to be exact. And we were going to be in contact with our lawyers on Monday in suing. Because my husband felt like he was discriminated as a veteran and as a minority. Because looking at my husband, you don't know what race my husband is. My husband is multiracial. He is the direct product of two biracial parents. So my husband, on any given day of the year, can look like he's white. He can look like he's Puerto Rican. He can look like he's Dominican. I call him the UN because he will look like anything. So, yeah. So we're sitting there, and the guy tells a lady calls my husband, and she walks through everything, and she says, this is the issue. You're covered by Veterans Administration. And by their definition, if you're legally married, your spouse is automatically covered. However, we stop direct billing to Veterans Administration. We only accept the outsourced insurance company that they gave you, which is Optum Care. TriWest, which was the previous company that they used, they used to do the same logic billing not billing. They use the same terminology that the VA used. So if the veteran got TriWest, then their spouse got TriWest. Well, for North Carolina, the VA no longer uses TriWest in the state of North Carolina. I don't know if it's just our state or other states are included, but they do not do that for our state. And as a result, we have Optum Care. Optum Care does not include the spouse. So because they didn't include the spouse, I wasn't covered. All right, I can accept that. But why the fuck you didn't verify that shit in August? Why are you verifying that shit when I'm 2 weeks away from stimming? That is what my issue and complaint was. I didn't understand the shit. So, after being told we were about to be held responsible for a balance that we did not outrightly feel like we were responsible for, they have agreed to write off our entire balance, and we don't owe anything. I will begin care January 25th with Carolina Fertility Institute. Yes, that is 92 days from now. No, I'm not happy with it being 92 days from now. But the end goal is for us to have a baby. So with that being said, we're going to have a baby. I'm going to head to this meeting, bonnet and all, in the rain. Luckily I got up out my bed. Have a good day.